winner is Rodri.
In recent years, we've witnessed all sorts of disgusting decisions by the world's biggest bodies, with UEFA leading the way. All sorts of nonsense tournaments have been created, such as the Nations League or the Conference League. The format of the Champions League has been unnecessarily changed, and on 28th of October 2024, the final nail was driven into the coffin, a nail that confirms the impression that the romance of football is slowly fading away. On the day the world's best footballer was due to win the most coveted individual award, he was criminally robbed. On the 28th of October, Vinicius Jr became the biggest victim of the most disgusting football organisation there is. He became a victim of politics, of injustice, of propaganda. This date will forever be remembered as one of the darkest dates in modern football history. And in this video, we're going to look at the possible reasons why. So stay till the end. In 2024, the Ballon d'Or was awarded for the 68th consecutive year. As always, the purpose of the ceremony was to bring together the world's best footballers in one place to set an example for the younger generation, and also to pay due respect to all those stars who have shown their class and tremendous hard work in front of the whole world. However, the best club, with the best players, was not present at the event. No players, no coaches, no sporting directors, no president. Real Madrid had announced hours before the ceremony that they would not be attending. That Real Madrid does not go where it is not respected. And they had every reason to do so, because there was something that remained far below the public's focus. According to reports, all of Real Madrid's Ballon d'Or nominees, including Vinicius, his family and friends, Carlo Ancelotti, Florentino Perez and 50 other club officials were ready to make the trip. But then, suddenly, hours before the event on the same day of the ceremony, Manchester City informed them that they had been told Rodri would be the winner. It was Man City who informed Real Madrid that Vinicius would not win the Ballon d'Or, not UEFA. That's when Real Madrid decided to cancel their trip to Paris. Can you imagine the surprise of everyone connected with Vini, the Real Madrid staff, the coaches, his teammates, and of course, his mother, father and friends? Can you imagine their shock if they had been there, humiliated in front of the whole world? Having mentioned all these facts, we can't help but ask the question, what's the reason for this? Well, the first thing that comes to mind, and which has been circulating on social media, is the change in the Ballon d'Or regulations from 2024. Up until last year, for a total of 7 years since 2016, when FIFA refused to continue awarding the Ballon d'Or in partnership with French football, the French edition was solely responsible for organising the event and managing the voting. From 2024, however, following an agreement between France Football and UEFA, European football's governing body was also set to co-organise the award. And with that, UEFA's dirty intentions towards Real Madrid were beginning to become clear. As you know, in 2021, the club's president, Florentino Perez, launched an active development of a project he described as the biggest thing in the history of football, the so-called Super League. Without going into detail, we all remember its goals. The aim of the Super League was to bring the best teams in Europe together in one place, in one big group, where they could play each other week in, week out. And Real Madrid and Perez as their president have received special treatment from UEFA over the past 3 years for following the idea of the Super League. But now, months and months after this project died down, UEFA seems to be continuing to take revenge on Real Madrid, culminating in not awarding the Ballon d'Or to Vinicius, even though he was the clear favourite. But more on that in a moment. Some of you may recall that Real Madrid had another big name for the Golden Ball in the period since the Super League project was launched, and that was Karim Benzema in 2022. But apparently UEFA realised at the time that it would have been too obvious to interfere with France football, as UEFA was not a co-organiser at the time. And at the end of the day, Benzema in 2022 didn't even have a rival for the award, and it would have been too obvious if the Ballon d'Or hadn't gone to him. Now, before we move on to the purely statistical and playing reasons why not awarding Vini the Ballon d'Or is the biggest sports robbery in history, let's focus on all of his early struggles and hardships that he endured and also the fascinating resurgence he needed to go through to be in that position today. Vini's journey to the top began in São Gonçalo, a tough neighbourhood in Rio de Janeiro. Growing up with dreams beyond his surroundings, he channeled his energy into futsal, a sport that honed his fine control, quick reflexes and vision. In fact, football came later in life when his mesmerizing skills caught the eye of one of Brazil's most successful academies, Flamengo, who recognized his potential and took him under their wings at the age of 10. Futsal laid the foundations of Vinicius' game, shaping him into a player known for his explosive dribbling and quick decision-making in tight spaces. He quickly rose through the ranks at Flamengo, and by the age of 16, Vinicius was already being touted as a star in the making. He made his first team debut in 2017 and really made a big impression on not only coaches and opponents but fans too. Suddenly everyone was talking about him. But the weight of expectation wasn't easy to carry. Vinicius was under intense pressure from the media and the fans who were desperate to see the next Brazilian prodigy emerge, and this took a toll on his confidence. He also had another major problem, a lack of goal-scoring prowess. To underline Vinicius' lack of impact for Flamengo, he had 69 appearances at professional level, scoring just 14 goals. Despite this, the hype surrounding him was something unseen since the move of Neymar to Barcelona, and the Catalans were on the move again, but Real Madrid weren't about to miss out on the world's greatest talent once more. That's why, when they came knocking in 2017, there was no turning back for Vini. He was about to become the second most expensive Brazilian in history after Neymar himself. But with great promise came great scrutiny. Arriving in Madrid in 2018, Vinicius faced the challenge of adapting to European football, far from home and with the immense pressure that comes with wearing the famous white shirt. In his early days at Real Madrid, Vinicius was a mixture of raw talent and inconsistency. He could beat defenders with ease, and this was evident in his early games for Los Blancos. We all remember his blistering pace in the El Clásicos that year. On paper, any footballer would be respected in such a big game, but Vini played fabulously, dribbling against 2 or 3 players, finding space and creating chances for his teammates. The only thing lacking was finishing. His missed chances could have turned around a disastrous 2018-19 season for Madrid, which ended with no trophies, a 10-2 aggregate defeat to Barcelona in the 4 El Clásicos, and an embarrassing 4-1 humiliation at the hands of Ajax in the Champions League. Over the next 2 seasons, things didn't improve in either his game or stats, as Vini continued his mediocre performances and finished each of his first 3 seasons at the Santiago Bernabéu with more or less 10 goal contributions, 12 in his first, 8 in his second and 10 in his third. At the end of his 3rd season at the Bernabéu, there were even rumours that he would leave the club. That happened in the summer of 2021, the same summer that marked the start of a whole new era for Vinicius. Carlo Ancelotti took over, and his experience and calm demeanour proved crucial to his revival. Instead of changing his style, Ancelotti focused on refining his game, emphasising composure, positioning and decision-making in the final third. The change was transformative. And then the rest was history for Vinicius. In his first season under Ancelotti, he formed a brilliant partnership with Benzema, the same Benzema who asked all the players not to pass to the Brazilian. As time went on, Vini became a more decisive and influential figure for Real Madrid, working wonders for the team on the pitch. 38 goal involvements and a Champions League and La Liga title in 2021-22. A career-high 42 contributions and a Spanish Cup in 2022-23, and of course the magical 2023-24 campaign that gave him the Ballon d'Or, or at least had to on paper. Just listen to all those feats. 24 goals and 9 assists in a season when he was 2 months out with an injury, a hat-trick in El Clásico in a Spanish Super Cup final, and a contribution in every knockout round of the Champions League. Now let's talk about another controversy regarding the explanations from France Football. Their chief editor, Vincent Garcia, explained that the decision not to give the award to Vinicius was purely mathematical. Vinicius certainly suffered from the presence of Bellingham and Carvajal on the top 5 because, mathematically speaking, it took a few points away from him. This also sums up the season of Real Madrid, who had between 3 and 4 players, and the journalists shared their decisions between them, which benefited Rodri, said Garcia after the ceremony. Can you believe it? Can you imagine that one of the highest authorities in football, the media, who have organised the award every season for the last 68 years, can come up with such an excuse? We are absolutely stunned and don't even know what to say. And by the way, how do you explain the following example, Mr. Garcia? In 2010, Xavi and Iniesta won the World Cup and had the best individual seasons of their careers, while Lionel Messi had 57 goal contributions and was the best player in the world. But the three of them finished ahead of Dutch midfielder Wesley Sneijder, who won a treble with Inter Milan and played in a World Cup final, but still finished 4th. How did math not intervene in the Ballon d'Or rankings back then? But 14 years later, you come out with such a ridiculous explanation for the biggest robbery of the century. Nevertheless, we want to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Which opinion do you support, and do you think Vinicius was the only right choice to win the 2024 Ballon d'Or? Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, or just check some of our latest uploads. I'll see you in the next one, and bye-bye.